I'm gonna hit start recording first, then start streaming. Cool! I think this is working. I just hit start streaming. And it looks like everything is working okay. Not seeing anybody in chat yet, but that's fine. Things are a little technically wimbly wobbly because instead of using StreamYard, I am now using OBS. So this is an adjustment, but we'll get into why I'm doing that here in a second. First, hi, I'm Kelsey. I make comics. Today, we're going to be doing some character art once I get through some announcements. The first announcement that I want to make is, yeah, I'm back to doing live streams. I took a hiatus for a little bit to think over what it was that I wanted to stream live, because I had hit kind of a, I don't know if I want to call it a rough patch, but I was definitely running out of creative juice, as it were, and I just needed to take a break to figure out what I wanted to do with live streaming. That said, don't expect me to play any games here on Twitch, because, like, while gaming content is kind of a dime a dozen on this platform, I don't really have this set up to do that, so I will be just streaming my art process. That's how I've done it in the past, is I would use live streams to show off my process. Oh, I see we have folks in the chat. Hi, Simply Callie. Thank you for joining us and lurking while you're working. So, taking this time to come back from my streaming hiatus to let you know there's going to be some changes in the streaming. Not necessarily schedule. The schedule is going to stay roughly the same. Streaming every Tuesday and Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, unless there's like a convention weekend or something else pops up. Generally, though, every Tuesday and Saturday. The thing that's going to change, though, is the platform that I am streaming on. You're watching this on Twitch, and Twitch is where all of my live streams will be moving forward. I used to simultaneously stream on YouTube and Twitch, and sometimes YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, because I used a platform called StreamYard. However, lately, StreamYard has been giving me some technical issues, so I switched over to what I'm using right now, which is OBS Studio. It's open source and it's free. And so far, I mean, this is my first time streaming with this software, but I really like it. It's definitely different from StreamYard. Get back to me later as to my thoughts on which one might be quote-unquote better. I'm not going to give my vote on this yet. I will say I do like some things that OBS does that are different from StreamYard. For one thing, OBS's video quality, just at least on the studio side from what I'm looking at, freaking stellar. Oh my god. This is the clearest that I have seen my face, even at this like itty bitty rectangular angle. This is the clearest that I have seen any image of myself come through on a stream. This is really nice. This is also, and I've done test audio for this. I did a few tests before going live today, which is why there was a little bit of a delay. I wanted to make sure that the mic was working because I record with a Blue Snowball. It's over here on the side, so I try not to have my voice like spike it unnecessarily with my P's and T's. So anyway, I did some audio tests, and this is the nicest sounding I have sounded in a stream since I live streamed working on the Valkyrie piece a while back ago. Now, the Valkyrie stream, you can watch that on my YouTube channel. And full disclosure, this live stream here that you are watching right now on Twitch, I am recording this also so that I can post it up on YouTube for later. That way, folks on YouTube also get this announcement. So, all of my live streaming is going to move to Twitch moving forward. The reason for this is because OBS my new streaming platform, only allows for one source at a time to stream through. It cannot stream onto multiple platforms at the same time. So I had to think about it, and I had to make a choice. And I decided Twitch is already set up for live streaming. That's what it was optimized for. So I'm going to just put all of my live streams on Twitch moving forward. Now, when I was doing my tests earlier to check the audio and the video and all that stuff, I did notice that the recordings were just chef's kiss, mwah, so good. So that said, for the first couple of weeks during this transition, I'm going to record these live streams that are live on Twitch, and then the recordings will go up on YouTube a couple of days afterwards. That way, the Twitch peeps get to see the streams first. And if you decide to support this channel on Twitch by subscribing, yay, thank you. Any subscriptions that you pay, full disclosure, I only get half of the money. Twitch keeps the other half. But any subscriptions go towards improving this channel, keeping a roof over my head, paying for sandwiches, but also improving my mic quality, because I love my Blue Snowball, I really do, but I would love to get another mic, because I would love to get into other things that involve voice work besides podcasts. To do that would require a better microphone. Blue Snowball is great, but I would like to get another one. I would also potentially like to improve my webcam quality. That would be nice. But also just maybe save up for a backup laptop, because while my laptop is new-ish, it's only a couple of years old, it's also you never know when something's going to melt, you know? So anyway, long story short, any support that you give through subscribing on Twitch is just going to go towards supporting the channel, supporting me as a creative person, and keeping everything operating smoothly. That's all. If you can only watch on YouTube, that's totally okay. I know that things are wimbly-wobbly with numbers and finances and all that stuff. I don't expect you to if you don't have the means to. That said, signal boost this. Share my channel with your friends and anybody who you think would really enjoy watching comic art, character creation, gender queer creators. Generally speaking, just if you are broke, the best way that you can share your support is by sharing my stuff with people. That's really the best way that you can show your support. If you don't have the monetary means to do so, just share around. Thank you for sharing the stream, Callie. Okay, so that's the general announcements before I start rambling off too far. Again, to recap, I will be streaming on Twitch moving forward, because Twitch was optimized for streaming. For the first couple of weeks, I will be live streaming on Twitch, Tuesdays and Saturdays, scheduling allowing, and recording those streams. The recordings of the streams will go on YouTube a couple of days after they go live on Twitch. And this is until, I'm going to say, the end of the week of August 24th. For one thing, August 24th is my birthday. Yay. Also, after August 24th, I'm going to be out of town for the end of August. This is a good segue into announcement number 2. I am live streaming Tuesdays and Saturdays until the end of August. At the end of August, I will be in vacation mode. Just giving you the heads up now. I will be out of town to visit family at the end of August. Okay, that's enough of announcements for now. You're probably here to listen to me jabber while I draw stuff. Today, I'm going to get into something that I want my live streams to be moving forward. So the little bit of creative inspiration that hit me the other day was this. I had to take a hiatus from live streaming because I was like, man, I'm running out of ideas to stream. And then it hit me one day when I was like, there's a lot of character designs that I gotta get done for stuff, but there's also character designs that I would just love to draw because I love drawing character art. What if I just live stream the process of making a character from like penciling up to completing it and just have that be live stream episodes? So that's what my live streams are going to be moving forward. That said, there may be occasions when I record something like this setup just for YouTube. Those would be for tutorial purposes. Like if I wanted to show you a particular trick in Clip Studio Paint, or if I wanted to show you how I do a particular thing in Clip Studio Paint, or anything like that, that would be what this setup posted on YouTube would be after this wimbly wombly adjustment period. All that is to say, all of my streams on Twitch are going to be creating a character from initial idea to finishing touches. That's what each episode of these live streams is going to be. Intermixed with interacting with the chat and just talking about things as I go. So this first character sketch that I am doing right now is something that came to me earlier today. Don't entirely know why this came to me today, but it did. I've been thinking a lot about bird people characters. It's related to a secret project. I'm not going to share what it is quite yet, but the idea that came to me that was like, you need to draw me now. This idea was a flamingo knight. So I'm going to draw a flamingo knight because why not? That said, I do need to get some image references for flamingos. So I'm going to take a second to get some image references for flamingos. Because, like, in my mind, I have an idea of what they look like, but actually seeing the creature is something else. Oh, here is a... I'll show you the image reference as soon as I can. Right now I'm just accumulating image references. The thing about OBS is that I can only share so many screens at a given time. So bear with me for a second. Okay. Ooh. One sec. Found a better one. I found one image, and then I found another one that was even better than the one that I found. So, we'll save this one. Or maybe we won't. It's not letting me, like, right-click it, so we're just going to print screen that one. Okay. Now, I'm going to open up the reference that I just saved. There you are. And we're going to scoot this over to the side over here. Ooh. Flip the canvas. Okay, I figured the bill hooked, but it is way more dramatic than I thought it was. Also, the head is a lot more of an oval than I expected. just to get the general shape down. That beak is a little too long proportional to the rest of its head, so I'm going to adjust the scale of that super quick. Okay, that ought to do it. Okay, so we got the flamingo's head shape figured out. We're gonna need to scale that down because I want to draw a full figure version of this dude. Here we go. Ooh, before I continue with the pencils, I'm actually going to draw a guide super quick. I picked this up from a perspective tutorial that a friend of mine forwarded to me not that long ago because working on a comics anthology project, the most common bit of feedback that I would get from the comics editor was, your perspective is off. And I'm like, okay, this tells me that I need to improve my perspective more. So I went to a Discord server that I'm a part of with other cartoonists, and I was like, anybody have any tutorials or guides that can help improve perspective? And a comics buddy of mine forwarded me a few of them. So that's what I'm doodling in real quick right now, is one of the tricks that was forwarded to me. The trick that I'm doing right now is, I don't even remember what this one is called, but it's basically just imagining a series of discs that cut into whatever it is that you're drawing. Because, like, just gonna zoom in for a demonstration real quick. So, like, this can be super helpful for looking up at something, and then as you get closer to the horizon line, the flatter the line gets. And then if it's below the horizon line, then you can start curving it downwards like that. And that helps give things a lot more depth. So, like, for example, a house. Also gives a good guideline for, like, where to draw certain lines. So, like, something like that. Like, the guides, these little circular guides can really help you figure out, like, especially when you're working with something large, like buildings or trees or unusually shaped objects. This disc trick can help a lot with visualizing that sort of thing. We're actually going to put this in a different layer. Just going to call that guide tutorial, and we're going to turn that layer off and move it down. Back to the guide layer that I was just working with, and we are going to, okay. And we're going to change that opacity to 50% and go back into the pencil layer over here. And the reason that I drew those guides is because I'm going to be drawing this particular character in an unusual perspective, which is like the camera looking down at the guy. And I want to get that general gist as accurate as I can. Actually, considering how skinny flamingos are, I'm going to thin this guy out some more. I'm drawing his figure on a separate layer from the guides. This is why you work in layers, folks. Okay, this demarcates the shoulder placement, or at least the deltoid placement. Deltoids being this muscle that I'm pointing at right now. Now, there are different types of deltoids because your shoulder is made up of more than one muscle. Okay. Sip of water. Coaster got stuck on the bottom. Oops. Okay. Back to this. Oh, wrong window. There we go. Gonna move everything up a little bit. Want to make sure that I got room for the feet. You know, what do flamingos' feet look like? Weird. That's what they look like. They look weird. I'm looking at the images that I've pulled up on DuckDuckGo, and some of these feet are just like, are those shovels? Sure. Oh, yeah, they're webbed. They got webbed feet. Kind of like ducks, only weirder. Well, hold on, I'll show that in a second. That's a bit small resolution wise, and it won't let me save it. Okay. Ooh, excuse me. Figured I'd look up flamingo feet because I'm like, should I give this guy flamingo feet? Because the general gist with this guy that I want to do is I want to put him in armor, but at the same time, flamingo feet. Out of context, this would be very silly. This would be a very silly conversation to listen in on. Is like, on the one hand, he's in armor. On the other hand, flamingo feet. Okay, I have an idea of how to handle the feet. We're just going to treat it like it's part of the armor. Okay, we'll move on from there for now. Might narrow those hips down a little bit. Thin out the legs. There. There's a couple of reasons why I wanted to shift my focus on streaming from what I was doing before to just making it dedicated to drawing character designs. For one thing, I wanted to show off my process to folks who may be looking for an artist to draw something for them, because I will be freelancing. In fact, I am freelancing full-time right now. My last day at Chipotle was today, which we won't get into the state that I left them in at Chipotle, but, or at least the state that they were in when I left. That's the more accurate statement. We're not going to get into that right now, but today was my last day at Chipotle. On the one hand, yay. On the other hand, this means that I am available to draw commissions for folks. And I figured one of the best ways to show off the kinds of characters that I could draw for people is to just show it off on Twitch and be like, look at these characters that I can draw. I could draw something for you too if you wanted. So like shameless self-promotion for one. The other is there are a number of little side projects that I've got going on that do involve character creation and character art. And I figured to make progress on those side projects, I could just draw that on these live streams and knock out those birds with this stone. Because why reinvent the wheel, man? I'm sorry, I'm just catching up on comments. I don't know why flamingo feet look like they have a toenail, but they do. I'm going to assume that it has something to do with how much they walk around in like ankle deep water and how they need to like have a more sure footing when they're walking around in that. But yes, I do agree. Duck feet look a lot better than this. I wish I could tell you why it is that flamingo feet look the way that they do, but this is my best guess, is that they spend most of the time underwater. So that's why they look the way that they do. Odds are pretty high, as I'm drawing this particular character design, that the final iteration may not have feet that look like this. Okay, I have an idea for drawing the arms, so. Okay. Just going to do rectangles for a second because this guy is going to be holding a sword. It's just a matter of figuring out the placement for the sword. Oh, actually, one thing that could help with the placement for the sword. New layer! Pencils. Hyphen. Sword. And we'll draw this in... Let's see, the flamingo's in blue pencil. Because I'm a contrarian. Let's do an orange brown pencil for the sword. Now, the sword is going to have to obey the same laws of perspective as the rest of the body and following the guidelines. So, hilt. Handle. This is just a general shape of it. This is not the final draft of the thing. This is just to give me an idea of where this is going to sit. Because if I know where the sword is going to sit, then I know where to put the hands, and then the elbows, and then everything else. So, okay. I was going to have him hold the sword in front of him in like this sort of position, but I think he'll do it more like this kind of a position. If you have seen the promotional art for Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, he's going to be pulling a Ganondorf pose. Doing that so that way we can see the sword and his legs a little easier. Okay, going back to the rest of the pencils, back to blue pencil, and now, I did announce that today was my last day at Chipotle. I've just determined that food service is not for me. I'm also at a point financially where I can freelance full-time for the next 2 months, and it's not going to set me back too terribly much. So that's what I'm doing. Oh, hello, Arch of Winter. Yes, I changed it up. If you missed the announcement, my future live streams are not going to be on YouTube. I am recording this right now, and the recording will go up on YouTube a couple of days after this live stream wraps up. But moving forward, all of my live streams are going to be on Twitch. There's a technical reason for this. The technical reason is I had to switch to OBS, which is another streaming platform. I was using StreamYard. I'm using OBS now because StreamYard is giving me technical issues. But OBS only allows me to stream on one platform at a time. And I'm like, well, Twitch is already best configured for streaming, so I'm just going to stream on Twitch moving forward. Now, I am recording this to post up on YouTube a couple of days after this live stream wraps up. And I'm doing that because of this announcement. And I want my folks on YouTube to know this. So I figure, might as well record it. A couple of days, I'll post it up there. We'll get the announcements all figured out. If you have any questions or concerns about that, though, shout it out in the chat. At least those of you who are watching live now, if you're watching this on the YouTube replay, just leave a comment in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Back to the drawing. Okay. Now to figure out elbow placement, drawing a line that connects the shoulder to the wrist and then a perpendicular line. And there we go. Elbow placement. Oh God, excuse me. Oh, I had a burrito for lunch and ooh, The steak is giving me awful heartburn. Oh. We'll thin out the arms. The legs are already really skinny. Because, you know, Flamingo's not that buff. So I'm like, yeah, he's a knight, but he doesn't have to be like a buff knight. He can be like runner physique. And go from there. Like if we need a bird person to be a chonky knight, go with like a hawk build. Hawks or eagles. Those are barrel chested. Harris hawks would make really good knight designs. But I'm drawing a flamingo knight because for some weird reason, my imagination was like, you want to draw this now. And I'm like, well, who am I to argue with that? So I'm not going to argue with it. Okay, there's the hand placement for that other hand. There are some weird noises happening outside of my apartment right now. I have no idea what that's about. So, I started bringing up that today was my last day at Chipotle. And I will be freelancing full-time for the next 2 months. August and September. I'm going to be freelancing full-time. Good chunk of why is because I'm going to be out of town multiple times for the next 2 months. I actually have a comic convention on Sunday, this upcoming Sunday. Because of that, don't know if I'm going to be streaming this upcoming Saturday. Also, my friends and I were coming up with plans for this upcoming Saturday. So, full disclosure, probably not streaming this Saturday. What day is it? What day is that? The 13th? I think this upcoming Saturday is the 13th. Yes. I'm going to play it safe and say no stream on the 13th. But next live stream on the 16th. I'll announce it again at the end of the stream. Anyway. Yeah. Next show coming up this upcoming Sunday. I will be at the... I'm trying to remember the name of this thing. The Northwest Comics Show, I believe is what it is. I'm going to look at my calendar just to be on the safe side, man. Google Calendar. It's where I keep all of my important dates. Northwest Ohio Comic Show. That is the next show that I will be at. It's going to be in the Sylvania neighborhood of Toledo. So if you're in the Toledo-ish area, or if you're up in Detroit and feel like you want to go on a day trip somewhere, I hope you make it. I would love to see you there. I got some new stuff. I got a lot of new stuff. I also have restocks on things. I will be updating my Ko-fi shop after this live stream to update my amount of stock for The Legend of Jamie Roberts, Volume 1, which is the sketchbook, and Dragons, a sketchbook, because I've got more copies of each of those. Excuse me. There will also be a new pin on the store very soon. Oh my gosh. Hiccups, man. I had lunch before streaming. Ooh. Back to drawing. Okay. I'm drawing my triceps a little differently on my characters because I have discovered something about the triceps muscle just from weightlifting and seeing other people flex, which is the triceps here in this instance, in this arm, it's more than likely not going to be flexed because of how the arm is bent. The biceps would be more flexing here. But the way the triceps is, the curve is kind of up in, oh, you won't be able to tell. But it sits in a different place than what I thought it did. That's the long story short of it. So I'm going to be drawing triceps differently moving forward on my characters to accommodate what I have learned. Also, shoulder muscles, the deltoids, are going to be treated much differently than how I have treated them in the past. Okay, so I got his general physique down. Let's actually scale the neck and head some, because that head is a bit too big. It's the beak is throwing me off. That's what's going on here. I think just a wee bit smaller. Just a wee bit. Okay. Now that I'm freelancing full-time, I will say this. I'm actually going to take tomorrow as, I don't want to say a day off. I want to take it as a vacation day. Because I have not had a vacation day in a hot minute. I want to take it as a vacation day so that I can tidy up some in my space. When I took the job at Chipotle, granted, I did not work at Chipotle for very long, but during the time that I was working at Chipotle, there were a number of things that got really disheveled in my apartment and my workspace here at home that tomorrow I'm going to take the time to tidy it up and clean it up and make space for the projects that I want to make. Now, while I am freelancing full-time for the next month and a half to 2 months, I'm going to take day one to clean up my space. Get rid of the old stuff, make room for new projects. The other thing that I want to do is I want to wrap up some things that are in my Trello backlog that have been sitting there for a while. Try to get as many of those done as I possibly can. Oh, hold on. I gotta improve my muscle memory. Carlos P., where are you at? That was our joke, man. Anyway, drawing better man titty. Yes, I am aware of how very surreal it is that I am drawing man titty on a flamingo, but that is fine. This is fine. Okay, looking at it with the canvas flipped, his head is also in the wrong placement. going to rotate the head up a little bit as well. Yeah, this is looking better to me. Like, his head was too far back for my liking. Like, yes, flamingos have the weird swan necks, but it's like, this dude that I'm drawing is supposed to be like alert while on guard duty. His head doesn't need to be like, you know? Okay. We are going to move the flamingo feet image over here and move it just that way and get back to this canvas. Okay. Erase some lines here because this is just sloppy, man. I do have other characters in mind that I would love to draw for these live streams. For one thing, I want to show off the fighting game roster art again that I drew back in February. There's still some characters that I gotta draw for that. I had to put that project on hiatus for a little while because there were some other things that were happening at the same time. But with freelancing full-time and having more time to do that sort of thing and streaming more consistently, I can draw that stuff again. I'm going to draw it for live streams, but I will be able to draw it, which is really nice. Here we go. Okay, I had to erase some of these lines, man. That forearm is too long. Rotating this a smidge. And yet another reason to flip the canvas is you can spot stuff like this before it gets entirely out of hand. That's better. Probably the flipped canvas can help me with the... Yeah, I messed up that one leg real bad. I'm going to fix that. Actually, I'm going to paste that into a different layer and call it pencils-OG leg and then turn that layer off. And we're going to move this leg here. That way it doesn't look like it's completely broken. Some of the other character concepts that I would love to draw for these live streams are some characters for fan projects. And I say fan projects because there's a number of fan projects that I've got going on. In fact, this is a good segue into what I would like to do with the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel, I have some video ideas in the pipeline. The first couple are going to be fan projects. And hopefully I can get those done before the end of the year. That'd be really, really nice. But there's some fan project videos that I would really like to get done. So I could draw character art for that during these live streams. there's other fan art to get drawn for a D&D campaign that I am running. The D&D campaign that I am running, I've talked about intermittently on the podcast The Fourth Leg, giving new GMs a leg to stand on. Anyway, in the podcast I have mentioned that I am running a campaign for some friends of mine, and the campaign, as I have pitched it multiple times, it's like Kingdom Hearts, but for worlds not set in Disney. So far, the players have gone to the Sonic the Hedgehog world, Promare, and they're about to enter the worlds of Jak and Daxter. That's next on the roster. They have encountered characters from Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, Critical Role, because yes, I've included a handful of Critical Role NPCs into the campaign, and Dragon Ball, as well as Hunter x Hunter and The Secret of Nim. I have managed to wiggle The Secret of Nim into the campaign. Catching up on comments, I love this little quip. Night Flamingo encounters lawn flamingos at an enemy castle. What kind of mockery is this? I imagine that's how gnome knights would feel if they saw lawn gnomes, which I'm going to write this down. There's this anthology that I volunteered to be a editor for, which is entirely about gnomes. And we've been coming up with ideas for little one-page comics. And I think this would be a great one-page comic. So thank you, Arch of Winter, for pitching that. I'm going to make a note of this. What mockery is this? I'm just picturing a ridiculously deep voice coming out of this frickin' flamingo. Just, what mockery is this? And it's like, yes, good humor. Okay, anyway. Drawing the foot. Nope. Okay, let's draw a human foot. Not that human feet are any easier. Torso's a little long, now that I'm looking at it. Okay, that's better. Now that we have the general skeleton down, I'm going to move this leg just a smidge. I'm actually going to keep the guides in place because the next step is sketching in the armor placement. The perspective guidelines will really help a lot with armor placement. Okay, we are going to group these layers and call them pencils. Collapse the folder, make a new layer and call it pencils armor. Okay. Now the armor I'm going to draw in purple just to be a contrarian. Okay. Now what kind of armor do I want to draw on this guy? Well, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to get a little bit more water. So I will be right back. Let me move the camera so that you can see his little beady-eyed stare while I get some water. Okay, I'm back. Oh, goodness, excuse me. I need to stretch more. Oh, you know what? There's one thing I'm going to do. This is going to get me away from the camera for a little bit longer, but I will be back soon. Okay. I had to get out of jeans. Like, I can work not at a desk in jeans. Cannot sit at a desk in jeans anymore. Oof. Armor for the dude. Okay. Okay, for this one, I'm actually going to first close some of these other windows. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up some other image references. If I look in project-based references, I think the Legend of Jamie Roberts references has some armor bits that I can use as reference. I do. Ooh. Yeah, there's a couple here. Let's open those up. Okay. Okay. Let's actually go off of probably both of these to an extent. Boop. There we go. Zoom out there, zoom out there, and boom. Okay, now as far as the neck piece goes, we'll figure out a neck piece here in a minute, but shoulder pauldrons. I have an idea for the shoulder pauldrons, and this is something that first came to mind with the Flamingo Knight. Stick with me for a second, because this is going somewhere. Move that up a little bit. There. I will say one of the nicer things about recording this live stream is that if I choose to, I can, because I have video editing software now, I can look back on this and cut out some choice clips and recap clips and post those up on social media to be like, look at this live stream that you totally missed, wink wink, nudge nudge. Getting so many ideas for things that I can do now with this new OBS setup. StreamYard, I think StreamYard can allow you to record as you are streaming live. I know that StreamYard does allow for recording something beforehand and then allowing you to post it later as a live stream, or at least as a pre-recorded thing. OBS, there's a number of things that I can still experiment with. And oh boy, will I be experimenting with them. Actually, let me pull up some more image references for things. For the armor in particular. Excuse me. Okay. Oh, okay. I was hoping the Prince of Shadows and Valkyrie folder would have some like armor references for me, because Valkyries, but doesn't appear to be the case. Aha. Okay. This works better for what I had in mind for his shoulder armor. Because his shoulder armor, I want there to be feathers poking out from it. And I think this setup would allow for that. There, for the ease of making drawing the feathers much easier for myself, I'm just going to flip the canvas. Okay. Promising start. Just realized I haven't spoken for a second because I'm getting kind of focused right now. Also, I just realized how very badly I drew that forearm. Good heavens. Woof. There. I can't stand to look at that old line. Ooh. Okay. That's better. We'll do the feather thing on the sides here as well. Flip the canvas. For me, it's just so much easier to draw the feathers this way. Okay. Boop. I'm going to pull up a different image reference for the leg armor, methinks. Though, real quick. Okay. Back bracer here. Makes it look like a leather gauntlet, which it kind of is. Oh man, excuse me. It has been a very long couple of weeks, y'all. Oh, catching up on comments. Look up Loom Cluster. I think you'll like their armor designs. I don't know what Loom Cluster is. Hold on. Oh, that's neat. Jewelry armor collection. Those very shiny gauntlets and things. That's neat. Oh, excuse me. I am only so tired all of a sudden because Chipotle is a very physical job, and I've been awake since 5 a.m. this morning. I will not have a cup of coffee, though, because it is after noon in my time zone. Anytime that I drink coffee after 12 noon, it is a bad day. A very bad day. I'm not doing that to myself. I'm digging through my reference folders right now to see if I can find other armors that I could possibly use for like a basis of inspiration here. Okay, I'm not seeing much by way of armor, but I did see something. Now drawing the feet and the ankles. Somebody passed by my patio window looking in. Probably either noticing my patio garden, my bike, or the fact that I have a television sitting in front of it is sitting right behind the door with free TV written on it. Catching up on comments. Tea Earl Grey hot. I am down to my last packet of hot Earl Grey tea, and I don't want to use it quite yet. I gotta run to the grocery store later and pick up more Earl Grey tea. I do still have decaf vanilla almond tea. I might have a cup of that. And I did pick up a ginger and turmeric hot tea from Aldi because that was the closest non-caffeinated option that they had available. I love Aldi for their low prices, but their tea selection is very limited. I will say that. There is a grocery store close by called Churchill's that has a pretty good tea selection. Kroger has a decent enough tea selection. I really miss indie tea houses. Wheeling, West Virginia has... I want to say the place is called Willow Sage and Thyme. It's in downtown Wheeling in Center Market. They have loose leaf teas that you can either pick the mix yourself or they have pre-made ones, but they're all loose leaf and it's delightful. Looking at the comment, you need a motion sensor on your porch that triggers dog barking sounds. I don't think that that'd be necessarily helpful. We have very noisy neighbor dogs whom, if one barks, all of them bark. No, we don't want to put fake cracks on the TV because we're trying to get rid of this old TV. We're trying to rehome it. Now, if nobody comes by between now and tomorrow afternoon to pick up this TV, I'm just going to take it to Goodwill. I'm going to be doing a Goodwill purge tomorrow anyway. Because one of the things that I got to do for tidying up my space, because again, taking a vacation day tomorrow to just clean up my space, tidy up some things. I'm also going to make a Goodwill run. I'm going to take a whole bunch of stuff that I don't need anymore and just take it to Goodwill because I'm tired of having it in this space. We don't have a ton of room in this apartment to just house stuff. Also, I just want to make more space for like new projects and things because I think that'd be fun. Fun and welcoming and good. Red boots. Perspective. Still gotta obey the rules of perspective. Okay. I still gotta figure out the sword. But armor's pretty well figured out. Erase a few lines here. Not the one I wanted. Okay. Let's actually test this out. Aha. Oh, let's actually adjust the height of that one. I've also been thinking a lot about animals in armor because one of the non-player characters that I introduced in my D&D campaign is a... I love her to bits. My players love her too. The character that I introduced is a tabaxi, aka a cat person. Her name is Duchess. She's a long hair with big googly blue eyes. And her primary method of communication is screaming. Like, you try to talk to this cat and she's like, ah! That's how this cat talks. Her name is Duchess. All of my players love her. But she's this, like, 6 foot tall, long-haired furred, like, black cat in golden armor with a quilt attached to her shoulders like it's a cape. Because one of the things that she does is when she gets overwhelmed with sensations and she gets overly sensitive, she'll just put the cape and pull it over her like a blanket and she'll just settle down and just like a hunker into a little kitty burrito under the quilt. Was I inspired by my cat Bree hiding under my blankets? Yes, I was. I was also inspired by a cat on Instagram named Noodle. Highly recommend you check out Noodle. You can find them at Friendly Noodles. Okay, we got this. Okay, the sword. I have an idea for the sword. And that we're going to pencil in green. Oh, man. Okay. Here is the front of the sword. I'm gonna rotate the canvas to make drawing this line a lot easier on me. Okay, there's the front of the sword. Give me a general gist. Keeping in theme with the rest of the ensemble, this is going to be feathers, or at least feather themed. Okay. Rotate the canvas a bit again to smooth out this line. Boop. Okay. And that'll do. All right, now we can ink this in. Merge the pencil layers into the same folder and make a new layer and call it inks. Let's save our progress before we go any further. Not clicking away. Okay, excellent. Woo. Turn the guide off because now we're at the inking point. Okay, figured I'd catch up on comments real quick before I continued. Now, OBS is good for a lot of things, but it does not tell me how many people are watching currently. The only way that I know who is watching is if folks leave comments in chat. At least when OBS is active. Again, does not tell me how many people are watching, necessarily. There probably is a way to figure that out if I configure it right. I just did not configure it this time around for that. Because I was like, if people watch, people watch. If they don't, I'm going to repost the stream on YouTube, and that will get me numbers as well. So it's whatever's. I have not drawn a helmet on this guy yet, so I'm going to do that real quick. Here's the part where I get to add in some details to things. If there's one thing that I've discovered about making character designs, it's that I really like adding details to things. Now, would this design work for drawing comics? Probably not. It's too detailed. But it is fun to draw. Now, if you were working with like 3D animated materials, this would be a pain in the butt to render, but I imagine fairly easy to animate. In this culture of flamingos, pink is the most manly color. Cue the comments about, well, historically speaking, pink was a male color, which it was. Pink was... Depending on who you ask, it was either pink was considered a masculine color and baby blue was a feminine color, or baby blue was the default color for all babies, regardless of gender assigned at birth. As with most things that are awful in this world, Nazis started that. They came up with the idea of the pink triangle to delineate who was gay and who wasn't. And if you wore the badge of the pink triangle saying that you were gay, you were pretty much shipped off to a camp. So the only reason that it was enforced was because the government was like, you have to wear the patch. And the only reason that gay people survived that was because they were like, no, I'm totally straight. Cross my fingers. Which is, never good. But I don't begrudge them having to do that in order to survive. That said, there is a very cool history that nobody ever talks about of the underground gay resistance in Nazi Germany, which it exists. Anyway, historically speaking, pink never really associated with babies until the Nazis decided that pink was going to be the delineation for gay men. Somewhere along this line, like, connection became pink is a girl color. And because of that, pink became the color for girls and blue the color for boys. I'm sure there is somebody that actually traced that thread, but I am too tired to think about that right now. There's only one thing that I'm really looking forward to freelancing full-time for the next 2 months. It's actually catching up on sleep. For one thing, I've been working really hard for the last couple of weeks in particular. Last week specifically was super physically rough. I'm going to need some time to recover from that. So I'm looking forward to not having to get up at 5:30 in the morning every morning. It'd be really nice. There we go. Better placement for a strap for the elbow guard. And then I was like, better add clasps over here. So I'm going to do that. This eraser is too big. I'm going to need to adjust it. One thing about streaming a character design process from start to finish is that I will be streaming for a lot longer during these streams. So expect these streams to last longer than an hour and a half to 2 hours. So if you're not able to come in right at 2 o'clock in future streams, that is totally okay. Yeah, catching up on comments. Yay, sleep! Yes, absolutely yay, sleep. I'm so looking forward to getting something more than like 6 hours. I'm really hoping too that my cat Bree will let me sleep in more often, because she has lately taken to waking me up at 3 and 4:30 a.m. for some weird reason. Do not know why, but she decides, Mother, I must demand that you wake up, scratch the walls. And I'm like, Madam, this is unnecessary. This is unnecessary and hurtful. Scratch the walls anymore and we won't be able to get our deposit back. Okay. got really tired of having to control Z that particular line, so I'm just like, I'll just draw 2 and then erase what's necessary. There are some other things that I would love to get done within the next week, now that I'm freelancing full-time again. A lot of the things that I have lined up in the pipeline that I haven't gotten to lately has been just adding things to my Ko-fi shop. So over the next week, I will be adding more things to the Ko-fi shop. And particularly after the Northwest Ohio Comic Show, again, happening this Sunday. If you're in the Toledo area, I hope to see you there. Oh, also, Reno, if you are watching this live stream, remember when I mentioned that I'm running a D&D campaign right now that's like Kingdom Hearts but set not in Disney worlds? One of the non-player characters the players have discovered is Ewo, because I love him and I really wanted to see him again, so I was like, I'm going to put him into this campaign. This is an instance where I ask for forgiveness rather than permission. This is a home game. It is not being live streamed, but I hope that it's cool. If it's cool, thanks. Thank you for blessing us with a great character. Just catching up on comments. I'm kind of confused about some of the comments, but that's okay. Callie, glad to have you back. Sorry that the Wi-Fi router that you have was being a bit of a butt. Oof. I hope my own Wi-Fi signal holds out okay, because it's been raining a lot the last couple of days, and I know the Wi-Fi, it usually holds out when it rains a lot, but I don't want to push it, you know? Ooh, for the sword, I'm going to use more exact lines, so I'm going to use the tools here. Oh, good. Bree Bree's eating her num-nums, which is good. She needed to eat her food. I had to take her to the kitty doctor the other day. This past weekend, actually. She's been getting dizzy a lot more lately. And then she had a seizure last week. And I was like, you don't usually have seizures. What is going on here? So I took her to the vet, and unfortunately, because of the seizure, we were unable to give her gabapentin, which, looking back on it, we really should have given her some gabapentin because she absolutely threw a fit when she was in the office. But we weren't able to get a blood test done because of that. That said, the vet listened to the symptoms that I described, and some of the things that I noticed within the last couple of weeks that was odd behavior. The seizure was like incident number 3 in a series of 3 incidents that made me go, I should probably take you to the kitty doctor now. Now, the verdict that the vet gave was, well, we can't know for certain because we can't do a blood test because she is way too angry at us, but based on everything that you have described, it sounds like she may have an inner ear infection. Here are some oral medications to slip into her food. She's eaten a good chunk of the medicine so far. She just started the liquid medication today. The other medication that she's taken over the last couple of days has been the pill form, and I've crushed the pill form so that it can mix in with some of her wet food. But she's getting better. She's less dizzy, at least, so that's something. Catching up on comments. Yeah, I was really scared when, because like it looked like a seizure, because like Brie was just like loafing on the floor, and then the next she just rolled onto her side. Her legs got real stiff. One back leg went up in the air, and it almost sounded like she was purring, but her eyes were like big and googly, and I'm like, this isn't normal for you. She has not had that since then. That was just a one-time incident that I have seen. But it was that incident that made me go, I should take you to the vet. The vet thinks that it's an inner ear infection that's causing some of the other things that she's experiencing. Some of the other things that's going on are she's woozy. She has anytime that she like got up for a little while, she would get a little wobbly, and lose her balance, which is unusual for a cat. And there was one time that she was asleep and she was twitching a lot more than usual. Yeah, here's hoping that it was just a one-time thing. So far, Brie is taking her medicine. It helps that I'm mixing it in with chicken broth and wet chicken. I have discovered that is her favorite thing. So if I need to sneak in any more medicine, those are the treats to give her to make her eat it. She will not eat tuna, which is weird because she used to love tuna, but she will not eat it anymore. And not because I gave her treats in any tuna before either. She just isn't eating it anymore for some strange reason. Okay, the other lines on this sword I am going to draw with thinner curve line. So, whoop. But so far, Bree's taking her medicine, which is good. And so far, there have been no other symptoms. She has been hiding a lot under the blanket, but that's per usual. She's been hiding a lot under the blankets lately. Callie, I will say, really jealous that you're only paying $25 a month for Wi-Fi, even though you did have to restart the router to continue watching this live stream. Like, just a little bit envious. At the same time, I was able to get, this month kind of free because I had been overpaying for the last couple of months. And my internet provider up here, it's Buckeye. Buckeye was like, "Oh, you've been paying a lot more for certain things that you don't even use. Here, we're going to update your plan so that you're not going to be charged as much." And I'm like, "Thank you. That's really nice." So the bill has lowered, which is a good thing. I'm going to redraw that line because I don't like tangents. In artistic terms, tangents are when two lines cross each other, even though they really shouldn't. There. The pencils are more of a guideline anyway. Flip the canvas. Y'all, do yourself a favor and go to YouTube or TikTok. YouTube will probably net you better results. And look up Game Changer, world's largest businessman. It's so good. Game Changer is kind of like this generation's Whose Line Is It Anyway? It's so good. The difference is they're all comedians who don't realize that this is an improv show. They're told that it was a game show. And the reason it's called Game Changer is because the games change every episode, and none of the players know what the games are going to be. It's kind of a running gag in that show that the opening number from the host is, "Do you understand the rules?" And the players are like, "You didn't tell us any rules. We don't know what's going on." And he's like, "Great, let's get right to it." Arch of Winter, to answer your question, she Simply Callie mentioned something. WoW got bought by Breeze Line, if that helps answer your question. Apparently Breeze Line has made things much worse, which I am sorry to hear that. So far, so good. Though I need to redraw this line because it is not sitting well with me. I do not know why I've picked up this voice, and yet this is what I am committing to for however long before I decide I'm tired of doing this voice. Son of a bitch, why is this line not working? Excuse my language. There, I have fixed the line. Oof, coloring these feathers is going to be interesting. I have some ideas of how I'm going to do it. We'll see how they look once we get there. The pencils are guidelines. Take some creative reinterpretation of these pencils. Okay. Okay. Got this figured out. Mostly. Yes. Cool. Yes. Eh. Going to draw straight lines, so we're turning the canvas at an angle and doing the voice again. Bleh. I am fed up, peasant Russian vampire. Bleh on you. Bleh, bleh, bleh. Flip canvas and this angle. Poop, poop, poop. Little bit more. There we go. Bleh. Swoop and bleh again. Bleh. Swoop and bleh. That was a half a bleh. There is the remainder of the bleh. Okay, save progress. I'm not going to draw a background for this thing. That would take entirely too freaking long. We're almost done with the inks. Nope. And I have lost all pen sensitivity. Save progress. Okay. Well, this will be interesting. I have to X out Clip Studio Paint and boot it back up. Okay, cool. I'm surprised. This is my first time having to do that in OBS, and yet it came up just fine. Okay. This happens every once in a while with Clip Studio Paint. It'll be like, oh, nope,
I have lost all pen sensitivity. You're going to have to start me over again because I say so.
And I'm like, fine. Usually the most common culprit for why it does that is I hit the save button and I try to click away from the window. Because Clip Studio, if it's not a data hog, it is an attention hog. Here in a second, I'm going to grab a snack. Actually, a snack, and maybe I'll start the kettle for tea. Because I've been doing a lot of talking. Probably should have made a cup of tea before starting the live stream, but I was doing tech tests, and I wanted to make sure everything was going to run smoothly before I did anything else. I did a lot of talking this morning at Chipotle too. We had somebody who usually doesn't do prep work suddenly do prep work with us, and I had to explain a lot of things, which is wild because I should not be training people at the stage that I was at, but fine. Food service. I don't know if I'm going to be going back to Chipotle after the 2-month freelance period is up. I'm kind of hoping that freelancing will go really, really well to the point where I don't need another, like, part-time job, but I also have a phone number for a temp agency, and I am not opposed to going to LinkedIn anymore, so we shall have to see what happens. Oh, and curve. Wait. That curve was for this fabric, not this one. Okay. So, we got that. We got the inks. We can turn the pencil layer off. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So good. Yes. Okay, for the inks, I'm going to add a little bit more depth in places. Earlier I mentioned that there was a secret project that I was working on that involved bird people. I'm going to give a little bit more context for what that secret project is. So, I became aware of a website called reedsy.com. That's REEDSY.com. Reedsy is one of those sites that I'm seriously considering putting my portfolio on there because they offer services for folks who are looking for book cover artists, editors, etc. Anything pertaining to do with book production. They're like, hey, come to Reedsy. We got professionals who have worked in book publishing who can help you get your stuff together. And I'm like, hey, I've done that stuff. I actually did that stuff multiple times over the last, 8 years. Almost 10. Hire me for stuff. So I'm thinking about putting my portfolio up on Readsy just to throw that out there into the universe and see who wants to hire me for stuff. I've got other outlets for posting my portfolio to places. Like, I have a website, kelseydcrawford.com. The link is on the screen right now. Anyways, Megan! Sorry, Bree was scratching on the walls. Readsy also has a section on their website for a short story writing challenge. They pick a winner once a week, and the winner gets $250, but it's a $5 entry fee. Now, I have not submitted anything for their short story contest, but I have followed their prompts. My thinking with this is I can practice my writing. I can put all of the writing that I have practiced into a short story book, madam. I see you scratching my walls. I kindly ask that you do not do that. Madam. She might be coming over to try to get in my lap. Anyway, I've been using the prompts for the short story contests as more... Yes. Come here. Oh, goodness. So much screaming. Goodness. Oh, bless you. Or was that a hissy? Was that a hissy or was that a sneezy? It felt like a sneezy. Oh, bless you. Are you going to settle? But I've been writing short stories in response to some of the prompts. Unfortunately, one of the short stories is ballooning outwards into its own, like, practically a novella. and this short story turned novella involves bird people. So bird people have been on my mind a lot lately. I am hoping that I can finish this frickin' novella first draft within the next week. That'd be really nice, because I want this rough draft done so that I can move on to other things. But I've been thinking a lot about bird people as a result. There, was that so hard? Madam. This little baby. Yes, Readsy, looking at the comments. The data hog. I started recording my work on Clip Studio, and all the backup save files are taking up about 50 gigabytes on my tiny boot drive, about 4 gigabytes per file. That's a lot of space. Yeah, I don't do recordings of all of my work through Clip Studio Paint. I'm pretty choosy about what I choose to record the process of and which I do not. You could also be working in really large files, so watch your dots per inch settings and your inches. Because I have found, especially when working with stuff with Kitties by Kelsey, because the Kitties by Kelsey stuff I have to do at 1200 DPI because of Redbubble's printing settings. And 1200 DPI, it's going to be really hard to record anything at that size. So I don't usually bother doing time-lapse recordings of any Kitties by Kelsey stuff because the resolution is just too big. I'm pretty sure my poor little laptop would, like, knock itself out if it tried to record that. So, just keep an eye on your DPI settings, your dots per inch. Especially if you're working at a really high resolution, because time-lapse recordings, they can get really data hoggy if the process that you're recording is super duper condensed, as it were. Oh, My Bri is flicking her tail right now. Let me see if I can capture... Oh, I can't really get a good view of her right now. It's just her butt, but that's okay. There. Eventually, I'll figure out through OBS how to set up multiple cameras so that maybe you can see a Bri cam, and then you can get a little Bri cam. Maybe. Yeah, would you like a Bri cam? She would. I think she would. She's just laying down. Yeah, I'm looking at your stats, dude. My current file is 5,648 by 8,000 pixels at 300 DPI. That's more than a little big. No wonder your poor computer is saving backup files and recordings at 4 gigabytes or more. Or 50 gigabytes. Like, that's a lot of space. So just be mindful of that. When it comes to recording anything for a time lapse, if I have to do it at 300 DPI, I try to keep it to like an Instagram size square. That's like 2,000 pixels or less. Because that, for one thing, it's easy to share on Instagram that way. For another thing, it's nicer on your space if you do it that way. Just realize some of these lines, if in order to match and mirror the other side of his armor, should be drawn like this, not like how I had it before. So I'm gonna tweak. Oh, bless you. Poor baby. She's got a little bit of a stuffy nose. Yeah. Baby, you've just not been having the best of luck, huh? Okay. I think the inks are pretty well done. Added some shadows to things. Yeah, we're now at the shading phase. So, make a new layer, shades, and we're going to put this at multiply 35% opacity. And okay, there's going to be a lot of pinks in the color flat stage. So the complement to pink, let me look at my color wheel. Here we are. The complement to pink is going to be, okay, straight complementary is green, like a light green. If we're going to do split complementary, it would be either blue-green or yellow-green. Let's do... Let's actually do a blue-green, because there's going to be some yellows incorporated in the color flats. So I think a blue-green would be a good complementary shade to incorporate into this. Now, light source is going to be here. He's going to have a feathery face and neck. The shadows for this are going to be a little more not straight. Okay.
Yes, Bree, I know. I feel you flicking your tail.
Just to get the general shape of that shadow, I did smoother lines, but now we're going to make them a little more jagged to give the kind of illusion of feather texture, like a downy feather texture.
Yes.
Obligatory pets for the Bree. Oh, catching up on comments. I just wish I can change the backup location. Do you save your stuff on an external hard drive or on the hard drive on your laptop or a computer? I will say I save my stuff on an external hard drive that's like a terabyte big. Largely I did that because previously I still saved on an external hard drive, but the external hard drive that I had before was only 540-ish, or like it was not a terabyte, but it was a lot of gigs. It just wasn't enough for what I needed, so I went with the terabyte. Honestly, really glad that I went with the terabyte. When I'm done recording this, the backup for this recording of this live stream will likely live on a different hard drive than my laptop. That way I'm not overloading this poor thing. Okay. Now the light source is coming at him from head on. So again, general shape. Adding in some jaggediness. Okay. That'll do for now. The beak is going to be smoother because it's a beak. And the armor will be smoother because it's armor. Paint bucket tool makes things so much easier. Oof, we've been streaming for a while. But I wanted to see how long this stream would take me to get this character design done. One thing I would like to do more with these live streams is not just to start projects, but to see them to completion. And then that way you can see the whole process of how I do it. And finished thing at the end of a live stream. That way I don't have to come back to it. Oof. I have entirely too many unfinished projects in my folders. I'm hoping that I can get around to finishing them in the next 2 months. Freelancing full time and doing my own thing. Just working in home at the studio full time. That's what I'm doing for the next 2 months. I'm really looking forward to it. I double checked my financials too, just to make sure that I could do it. And I can do it. If I wanted to stretch it out into 3, I possibly could. Or if I wanted to go the entire rest of the year, possibly could. We're gonna do a 2-month test trial though. And honestly, August and September are really good months to test this out. Between having to be out of town for comic conventions a lot, and some of the other things that I have on the back burner that could bring in a few things, like this 2-month stretch is really the best 2 months to like try out freelancing full time again. Because previously I would try out freelancing for like a set period of time and then bail and just get a part-time job somewhere while continuing to freelance and make comics and stuff on the side. But this time I have game plans. Realized that I added a little too much shadow to these front feathers here. There. You know, I still haven't made a cup of tea. I should get right on that. Okay. Save progress. We're not clicking away yet. Okay. Catch up on comments real quick. Boot drive is only 500 gigs. I don't know what to tell you there for increasing your boot drive. I'm not technically savvy enough in the way of computers to know how to answer that question. Anyway, I do know a couple of people who would be able to answer that question. They're just not in the live chat right now. I'm going to make a cup of tea. I will be right back. Enjoy this Flamingo night so far.
Oh, what? has a fur baby. Little sea thief. Oh.
I gotta watch this cat. If I get up from my desk chair and she walks over, she will take my seat. Even without me dropping her into it.
Here she is.
Or at least her butt. Hold on.
Here she is. Hey, you. Lady of the hour.
I have the kettle going right now. Oh. And she settled. All right, I guess I'm going to stand my table up. This is a standing desk, so I have the option to make it stand, which I am going to do. You know what, though? I'm going to have the angled down like this so that you can enjoy the view of Bribri while I get some snacks going. Now would be a good time for y'all to either gaze in wonder at this little gray kitty cat or go get some snacks and tea of your own. I will be right back.
You'll be a good hostess. You are so cute.
Here we go. Boop. Since Bribri took my chair, I just moved the desk to a standing position. There. And I unplugged it so that if I accidentally brush the arrow keys over here, I don't accidentally lower the camera or anything. Unfortunately, this means no more Bribri cam. But having it standing like this keeps her in her chair. But also, when the kettle goes off, I can just head on over to the kitchen and take care of that. Okay, move that up a little bit. Woo. Got that there. Oh, I can hear the kettle going off. Give me just a sec to add some more lines here. Okay. I think in future live streams when I do these character drawings, I will record the time lapse and Clip Studio at the same time. So that's extra material to post on social media. Missed a couple of inks. I'm gonna fix that real quick. Boom! Dunzo. It's not bad. This lightning look in here is a new one for me. I didn't know how it was going to turn out. This was an experiment, and it's okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah. I like bread. I actually have some ideas for paintings I want to do, weirdly enough. I haven't been inspired to paint in a long time. But I have painting inspiration now, so that's something. And I do want to stream painting, but that sort of thing is going to be on either Instagram or TikTok or both. Because, you can stream on Instagram and TikTok. Thing with that is, that sort of thing is best done with your phone. Or as the Scots would put it, phone. But probably not a Twitch setup like this one. I already just figured out how to do this setup today. So, anything traditional art would likely need to be live streamed on Instagram or TikTok. More than likely, at least to start, Instagram. There are some things about TikTok that make me nervous, to be perfectly honest with ya. Not that Instagram is that much better, but Instagram is kind of the devil that I know. You know what I mean? See that light source again? Okay. Get right up in there with that sword. I will say, probably not very often that you see a flamingo knight. I was just thinking about like how common certain fantasy tropes are, and like, you know, hawk guards and all that. Like that's, I don't want to say that's common, but when it comes to thinking about what bird people would do or look like, that's kind of the most common conception of them. And then I went, flamingos. And that already stands out. We'll see how this shading looks. I have my tea steeping currently, and I will be checking on that here momentarily. Missed a spot in inking stage. Glad that I caught that before I forgot. Okay. Now the light source from this point is from up above and in front. And the perspective is overhead, so, or at least the camera looking down is going to be like the camera's overhead looking down at this person. So that's something to keep in mind too with colors and lighting and all of that. I'm going to rotate the canvas a bit, make drawing some of these lines a little easier. Okay. Oh. Save progress. Okay. Hello, I see there's a first time chat. Good to see you. Hello. I need to get my tea really quick, but I will be right back with you. Before I get my tea, I'm going to bring over my mug warmer. This was the best gift that I had ever received. Shout out to my older sibling for getting this for me. Okay. Getting my tea. Be right back. Okay. Got some tea. Yes, thank you for joining us in the chat for the first time. Happy to have you here. Today's tea selection is decaf vanilla almond with a little bit of almond milk mixed in. If you're looking for a substitute for coffee, which on the one hand, I get it. On the other hand, as somebody who drinks coffee and tea, how dare you? But if you need something that's to replace coffee, I do recommend the vanilla almond tea. Decaf or otherwise. I drink decaf because brain does not like it whenever I drink caffeine after 12 o'clock noon. So, yeah. Anyways. We're going to flip the canvas here and angle it a little bit. Okay. Having flipped this canvas, I got to keep in mind that the lighting source has moved. So previously the lighting source was on the right-hand side of the canvas. Now it is on the left-hand side. Like the duchy that you pass in that one song. Past the duchy on the left-hand side. That is a reference to something. I'm sure it is. Okay, I gotta build the bridge that made me think of this connection. So, past the duchy on the left-hand side. Made me think of the scene from the Scooby-Doo live-action movie that played that song, which led to it, like the camera leading down to Shaggy and Scooby-Doo. The actor that plays Shaggy was also in a movie called 13 Ghosts. He was in a lot of horror movies in the 90s. It was very weird. He was also in Scream, but more thinking about, in this instance, 13 Ghosts, because my roommate and I finally watched 13 Ghosts recently. Oh. Hold on, catching up on comments. Oh, if I'm understanding your question correctly, are you asking if I have courses that teach you how to draw this drawing? I will say this. This is live on Twitch right now. I'm doing a recording as it is playing live. The recording of this stream will be posted on my YouTube channel a couple of days from now. So if you wanted to see the process of how I draw this from start to finish, because you caught this about partway through, just keep an eye on my YouTube channel, and you can find all of my links at kelseydcrawford.com. My website is on the screen right now in the bottom right-hand corner. I will be announcing it once I post this up on YouTube. Let's see. Cool. If you're a beginning artist, ooh, I'm trying to think of some good art books to recommend to you. That is hard to say, because, like, there are a lot of how-to draw books that will teach you how to draw in the style of the artist who made that how-to draw book. Not necessarily how to draw your own way. At the same time, you won't be able to know how to draw your own way until you just draw on repeat. So my recommendation to you is to find as many how to draw art books as you can in a variety of art styles. Draw from all of them, figure out what you like and what you don't like, and combine as necessary. That's my best advice that I can give to you. Also, when you're first starting to draw, it is okay to study from comics and manga artists and anime and animated movies that you really, really like and admire. It is okay to study from those. If you want to post that stuff online, though, just be upfront to be like, hey, this is a study from such and such thing. Always give the original artists their credit. That works. Okay, nearly done with the shading here. I will say, if you want to see other instances where I drew a character from start to finish or anything like that, just check out my YouTube channel. My YouTube videos are on my website, again, kelseydcrawford.com. Oh, hey, you like Naruto? My roommate also really likes Naruto, so there you go. You got a kindred spirit there. I never grew up with the show, so the show that I grew up with was Dragon Ball Z. That said, I do not recommend looking at Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z for correct anatomy. The anatomy in that show is not correct by any means. It is very, very Toriyama. Deepak, I mean, my website is on the screen, kelseydcrawford.com. If you're encouraging other people to post their channel in comments, I would ask that you try not to do that. Please and thank you. Reason for that is, while I'm cool with signal boosting other things, there is a time and a space for it. And I did not ask for the time and space to do that right now. Okay. When you're drawing, do not be afraid to rotate the canvas. Sometimes you need to do that for your arm to do what it needs to do more naturally. I don't like that shade there, so we're going to erase that. It's a bit better. Rotating the canvas again. In Clip Studio Paint, there's a rotate canvas button in the upper right by the window preview, in case you were wondering how that worked. Okay, that's it for that side. Now for the other side, we're going to flip the canvas and we're going to rotate again. Flipping the canvas is in the same command menu as rotating the canvas, in case you were wondering about that as well. Oh, no, that's okay. I understand that if English is not your first language, I could kind of glean that from some of your comments. I appreciate you trying your best to type out in English. English is a very hard language, so kudos to you for wanting to learn and wanting to practice. But my YouTube channel, the easiest way to find that is actually to just go to my website. And my website name is up on the screen in the bottom right-hand corner. My YouTube videos are posted on there, and you can find my YouTube videos through that way. That's the best way to find them. You can also just go to YouTube and look up the username Kelsey D. That's Kelcid. But again, the easiest way to do that is to just find the videos through my website there. Oh, also, since you're just beginning to draw, I highly recommend draw only what you're interested in. If you want to get better at a technical level, then start following along with the fine art how-to draw books, and the more fine art courses will ask you to draw a lot of still lifes. There is value in that. There really is. Drawing still lifes can teach you how to draw other surfaces, such as like a shiny apple, or glass, or metal, or canvas, or anything natural or synthetic. Still lifes can help you practice that. So if you want to get really good at drawing different types of surfaces, draw still lifes. If you want to get good at drawing characters, just look up the how to draw art books that are out there. Christopher Hart is somebody whom the art community loves to hate, but his stuff mostly works. The how to draw manga art books that are out there at like craft stores like Michael's are okay. You just gotta watch though, because I've come across some books like that where there will be amateur mistakes, like hand placements are backwards, for example. So be mindful of the kinds of tutorial art books that you are picking up. Just keep an eye out for details like that. If, for example, you find a how to draw art book in which a character's hand placement is backwards, maybe don't pick up that book. Because even if the artist might have good advice, but the editor who put that book together did not catch that mistake and just let it fly. And that's not good. Also, I can't really teach you how to draw my way because the way that I learned how to draw is so very particular to me that I don't think I could really teach it to anybody else. Because when I was first learning to draw, I was drawing comics. I was drawing like comic strips and then full-on comic books because that was where my interest was. I drew what interested me, and what interested me was comics. Also, what interested me was animation. For a long while, I wanted to be an animator, like a traditional 2D animator, hand drawing things. By the time I got to school, though, the industry was moving into 3D, so I wasn't able to study 2D animation. Then when I did go to school, I learned how to paint, how to do printmaking techniques, which includes etchings, which is working basically in the negative. You're carving things out rather than drawing things in, and that's very different. It's a very different process. And then working in 3D is also a very different process. Pursue your interests. That's the best advice that I can give you if you're just starting out. Just pursue your interests. And if it stops being interesting, stop doing it. All right, we got the shadows done. Now we can do the color flats. Saving our progress first. I'm going to catch up on comments real quick. What application am I using to draw this picture? I'm using a program called Clip Studio Paint. It was originally developed for Japanese manga, but it has since expanded and there is an English version available. I don't know how many other languages it's available in. I know it at least comes in Japanese and English, if that narrows it down for you. But Clip Studio Paint, it's my drawing program of choice because it can do a lot. It can do a lot of things that Photoshop can do, but Clip Studio Paint was made specifically for drawing, not for photo manipulation. Also, Clip Studio Paint was made, it has a lot of tools that make drawing comics much easier, which is important to me. It does go on sale a lot. Thank you, Arch of Winter. And Clip Studio does have a lot of pre-made assets. For example, I can show you some of these brushes here. These are what's called decorations, but they come in a variety of styles. Like the artificial category has barbed wire. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see. But it has barbed wire, it has keep out tape, it has wooden fence, it has iron fence, it has, for clothing, I made a chainmail brush which looks like this. There's also a gold chain which looks like that, which you can't hardly see because the background is gray. There's also pearls, braided ropes. There's also, I made this brush, the chain hatch, and I did another one chain hatch like that, which I'm actually going to use that. I'm going to use that for some parts of the armor here. I'm so glad that I remembered that that was there. I'm going to make a new layer, call it chain, and we're going to use that chain hatch, make it black. Turn the shade layer off, and we're going to use the wand tool, which is W, and we're going to select the areas that I'm going to put this brush to use, which is these. Okay, there's the chain brush. Oh, we're going to shrink that down. Hold on. That brush was too big for me. Oh, much better. Good. And I'm going to do this over here as well. Wand. Select the areas that I want to use this chain brush tool on. And we'll do this down here as well. Oh, one leg at a time, actually. There. Preset brushes make drawing things digitally so much faster. Now, full disclosure, there will be some artists, when you post online, there will be some artists that either can tell that you draw digitally, or they will ask you how it was drawn, and if you say that it was done digitally, some people may judge you for it, and judge you badly for it. Like, oh, so you can't draw then unless you have these tools. Just ignore those people. Like, being a digital artist is still being an artist. What makes an artist is somebody who understands the tools they are working with. That's what an artist is. Actually, with the chain, I'm going to add a line here, and I'm going to put some chain here. There we go. Okay. Now, under inks, I'm going to put the color flat layer, save progress. Okay, I'm gonna catch up on comments real quick. Okay, we're good. Whew. All right, color flats. So, we shaded with blue-green because the color flats are gonna be mostly pink. We're dealing with a flamingo guy here after all. So, let's get our pinks. Let us actually color sample some pinks from our reference images. Let's start with this guy. There's some purples in this now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, so we're gonna incorporate a little bit of purple as well. We'll have some yellow, pinks, and purples. So blue-green is a good complement for the shading here. Okay, now for the beak, half of it we're going to color white. And then we're going to invert the selection and color this black. To that though, I'm going to go back into the ink layer, lock the transparent pixels, make the paintbrush white, and fix this up. There. There, now we can see his mouth. Back to the color flat layer. Okay, got that all straightened out. Ooh, when it comes to the armor, there's actually a highlight layer that I gotta add, now that I'm thinking about it. I missed a chain section. Hold on. Wand tool, select, and select. Okay. That's better. I knew I was missing something. There are going to be artist friends of mine that they're going to see this and they're going to be like, why a flamingo? And my response will be, why not a flamingo? Actually make this webbing part of the boot this leathery pink looking color. And yes, yes, good, yes. We're nearly done with this guy. We're at the last stage ish. I forgot that I gotta add highlights still, but highlights should not take super duper long. Here we go. Also, for the guest who popped in the live chat, any other tutorials that you would like to see, just follow my YouTube channel. Twitch is not where I will post tutorials in the future. Tutorials are going to be posted on my YouTube channel. That way the YouTube stuff is evergreen. Or as evergreen as you're going to get with tech tutorials. Okay. Okay, we're off to an auspicious start. Okay. Nice spot there. Okay. All right, yellows and purples. So let's get some gold in there. Do you think that flamingo guards know flamenco? I know flamenco is a dance, but that's why I asked the question. Okay, we have a good start so far. So, I think the shoulder feathers are going to be a palerish pink. Maybe? Hold on. I was looking at the wrong color swatch. There! That will work. For the shoulder feathers, the back feathers are going to be something else too. We're going to have the shoulder feathers match these. Oh, earlier I had an idea for these feathers down here. Let's actually try that. Hold on. Ooh. Well, hold on. Line. Yeah. This works for me. Again, this would be a pain in the ass to draw in comics, but this is a one-off illustration, so it's fun. I'm actually going to tackle the shoulder feathers in much the same way. Okay. We'll fill in the gaps in a minute. First, though, I'm going to do the lasso tool, and we're going to select, whoops, drew it too wide. We're going to select around the area with the purple feathers. Delete. Okay. Oop. I really like this effect. I'm so glad that this came to me. Delete. And yes, good. Wand tool again, select these, delete G for gradient. Okay, wand tool again, select these ones, delete G for gradient, and swipe. Done. Okay. Now for the back feathers and the head feathers. Got those ones, and I'm going to select these with our wand tool, use the gradient tool, and boom! Glorious! Look at that. And with the shades on, heck yes. So far, so good. Save our progress so far. X. Okay. Now I'm going to turn the chain layer off so that I can see what I'm doing, and also when I hit G twice it gets me to the paint bucket tool for other layers. If I left the chain layer on, it would only color in one EDB square of the chainmail, and I want to cover the entire swath, so I turn the chain layer off so that I can see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm gonna make this more purple, or maybe a gray purple. There, that works. And then that way the bold pink stands out more. But it's in the same color family of reds and purples and yellows. If you're just starting out drawing, don't worry too much about colors or how to color things or what colors to use, because color theory is complicated. Don't worry about that yet. Just chase your interests. I mean, if you're interested in color and how to best work with color, there is material for that. Just be prepared to fall down a rabbit hole. Don't like that. It's a bit better. Because then that's in the same color range as these waist feathers here. Oh. That's better. Right now I'm just swiping through and spotting any white specks that need filled in, because that happens when you use the paint bucket tool to fill in stuff. You miss spots. I'm just going in and filling spots that I have missed. Okay. Oh! The buckles over here. I'm gonna make that a paler goldy yellow. We're actually going to refer to editing layer to fill all that in. Ooh. There. Something about that is just more visually pleasing to me. I am going to change this belt color here. That's better. Okay, the sword. Okay, the sword. Ooh, I think probably the same gradient as this. Yeah. Check the shades. Actually. Okay, this I know I have to zoom in to fill in the spots, because this is just too narrow for the paint bucket to pick up. Or the wand to pick up, for that matter. Okay. Ooh. This color, I think, would work for the pommel here. This, a little more red for here. And paler version of that for the accent here, and purple feathers here. Maybe? Nah. Maybe pink. Just straight up pink. Yeah, much better. Something about that is much more pleasing to me. Oh, earlier I was talking about the actor who played Shaggy in the live-action Scooby-Doo. and how he played a character in the horror movie 13 Ghosts, because apparently this dude was in a lot of horror movies in like the mid 90s to early 2000s. He was also in the movie Scream as one of the antagonists. Twist. Cool. I'm gonna add some highlights though, because like while the shadows are cool, the highlights I think would really help this pop. So make a new layer, highlights. We're actually going to set this layer to overlay, and we're going to set it at 50%. This is something that I picked up from my comics group recently. It was setting a highlight layer to overlay rather than anything else. It's because of how overlay interacts with the other colors, I cannot tell you how it works. You'd have to ask somebody who's in the comics group with me. Folks who are in my comics group, shout it out in the comments if you're able to, if you're watching this. There, add some highlight to the eye. Oh yeah, overlay is not going to work on black. That's the only thing. Again, it's how the overlay layer works. I could not tell you the technicalities of it because I'm not that technical. Just know that overlay as a layer effect will have a different effect than setting it to screen or setting it to anything else. Before, I would set my highlight layers to screen, but screen has different effects on the colors. Also, talking about movies again, if you have not seen it yet, I do recommend 13 Ghosts. It is so delightfully 90s. It is so very 90s, but like in a good way, I think. Oh, highlight fell out of bounds. There. There are a couple of color flat spots that I missed up here. I'm going to adjust that. Got it. Back to highlights. Gonna etch it in on these very front feathers. Now, highlights, I don't add too many compared to like shades. Because I don't want to overpower with highlights here. Okay. Oh, I will say if you're going to watch 13 Ghosts, there's a lot of, I hesitate to call it unnecessary gore, but there's a lot of unnecessary gore in there. Like, One of the character kills that happens in that movie is a ghost just picks up a dude and just smashes him against a pillar so that his spine snaps in half. And, like, on the one hand, it is very fake. On the other hand, you're like, ooh, that's unpleasant. Man, why would you show that? Okay, because of how the lighting is in this piece, I'm not going to put too many highlights on the lower part of the body. But I will put things here on the feet and on the sword. Ooh. Actually, I have an idea. I'm going to turn the shade layer off for a second and use the wand tool and select here. Foreground to transparent. I may need to turn some layers off. Bear with me for just a moment. Zoom in. Boop. Okay. I'm not sure the highlighting is even working here. Hold on. Oh, no wonder it's not working. For some reason, it was working in radial, and I don't need radial. Okay. That's better. Okay. I'm going to leave the gray background off so that you can see the Birdman. Turn the gray layer back on so that you can see the Birdman's colors in all of their glory, because he is done. Look at this boy. Look at this good boy. Oh, quite a good Flamingo night, if I say so myself. Yes. Excellent. I'm so glad that he is finished. Oh. Checking up on comments here. Yes, I love the gradient tools in Clip Studio Paint. Oh, I forgot about that factoid. Thank you, Arch of Winter, for pointing out that a group of flamingos is called a flamboyance. Oh my god. That is the name of the flamingo armies. They are a flamboyance. I love it. I love it so much. Okay, I will be posting the finished bad boy here on my social medias, so keep an eye on my Instagrams and whatnot. A flamboyance of nights. Yes. Oh, this is great. I love it. Okay. I'll also be posting this on Discord too for anybody who's on my Tiny Dinos Discord server. Now we are getting into the post-stream announcements. So, first things first. Next live stream will be next Tuesday, because I'm taking Saturday off. Saturday I have other plans. I will not be able to stream. But Tuesday, August 16th, had to double check the date. August 16th, I will be streaming again at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Dated Time, depending. But I will be streaming again this next Tuesday. Any other announcements that you would like to keep up with, just keep an eye on my website, kelseydcrawford.com. I also draw a webcomic called The Legend of Jamie Roberts. New page drops tomorrow. We just started chapter 7. If you would like to read it, catch up on it, or just check out the new pages, head to thelegendofjamieroberts.com. Eventually, once I get OBS, the software I'm using right now to live stream, once I get OBS figured out, I'll see about posting some of these links up on the screen, like having an overlay set up and all of that. One thing at a time. Yeah, we're still streaming, we're still recording. We're recording this particular stream because while I am live streaming on Twitch, I will be posting this on YouTube a couple of days later because there's important stream announcement updates in this live stream that people need to know. Also, this is a good way to let folks know what they can expect from future Twitch streams. Future Twitch streams. Woo! That is hard to say out loud. Sip of tea. Anyways, if you would like to see the process of creating a character from start to finish, watch my Twitch channel. If you would like to see more tutorials, like how to draw things or how to use Clip Studio Paint, head to my YouTube channel. Links to all of these will be at kelseydcrawford.com. Any other announcements that I make will be made on that website, kelseydcrawford.com, or on my socials. Like, I have Instagram, Twitter. Yeah, I do have a Twitter, although Twitter is more used for D&D stuff and funsies, not necessarily for art. I might have an art account soon. We'll see. But I do have an Instagram and a TikTok and a Tumblr and a Twitter and a website. My Instagram did move. I used to be at Kelsey D. Crawford. I am now at Kelsey D. Comics. So be sure to note the migration. This will be posted on YouTube in a couple of days, but if you are subscribed on Twitch, you can watch the replay immediately after I go live. Any Twitch subscriptions goes back to the channel and helps me upgrade my tools and keep a roof over my head and pay for sandwiches, and I appreciate your support however you share it. If you are broke, share the YouTube page once this goes live with your friends, or share my website with your friends. Share The Legend of Jamie Roberts with your friends. All the sharing helps way more than you know. That's all for now. I will see you next week at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this channel. Thank you all so much for watching. You are awesome. Now for the fun part of figuring out how to stop streaming. And now let's stop recording.